Junior Africa House, Koinange Land off Koinange Street.
Well, we are thrilled to be joined by you. Good evening and a warm welcome to KBC Prime, coming to you live from our broadcasting house studios right here in the capital city, Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Mboya.
And I'm Museo. Thank you so much for joining us. You're right on time for the most comprehensive bulletin. We have the latest news from the country and around the world.
But first things first, our headline stories.
We are preparing our young people and to create a workforce that is internationally able, internationally qualified, and internationally recognized.
Breakthrough! Government secures jobs for nurses in the United Kingdom. The might of the numbers. House Business Committee finally constituted. Plus, taming graft. Former civil servant handed 24 years in jail.
Thank you all for making time to be with us once again.
At KBC Channel 1 News, at Purity_Museo, at Mboya 24, the hashtag is Prime Edition. We are live on all our social media platforms, and Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter tonight.
I'll start this right now. Business is set to resume in the National Assembly after members of the Parliament overturned last week's votes that would have paralyzed House business for 6 months. In endorsing the committee, a section of lawmakers accused their colleagues of letting party politics come in the way of service delivery to Kenyans. Here's the report that opens our coverage tonight.
Officially began its sixth session a week later after a standoff on the constitution of the House Business Committee members. A procedural motion moved by Majority Leader Amos Kimunya seeking members to rescind its last week's decision pursuant to Standing Orders 49 subsection A pushing through.
We cannot let partisan politics come into the way of what we are committed to do in this House when we sought to uphold for the welfare of society and the just government of the people.
I regret that this Parliament had to waste one whole week of transacting business, but I believe it was purely politics and grandstanding.
Members allied to Azimio la Umoja turning out in large numbers as the lawmakers unanimously revoked the law that would have put the House into paralysis.
The decision you have taken overwhelmingly to rescind your decision of Tuesday, January 25th, afternoon sitting, therefore paves the way for the leader of the majority party to proceed to the motion as listed as order number 9 on the order paper.
Consequently, the legislators endorsed a 7-member list to the critical House Business Committee, a move the handshake team says will allow for timely prosecution of government business, among them the budget estimates for the 2022-2023 financial year.
Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The ayes have it.
So we want to take advantage of this period before the nominations so that we are able to transact most of the businesses in the House, hoping that this Taga brigade, will not just be putting unnecessary handles.
For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Sumungai.
Into the corridors of justice, a former finance and administration manager at the Water Resources Management Authority has been ordered to pay a fine of 7.64 million shillings or spend 24 years in jail for bribery and soliciting.
James Ambuso Omondi was found guilty of soliciting 445,000 Kenya shillings and receiving 465,000 Kenya shillings worth of kickbacks 10 years ago while working at Warma.
An anti-corruption court has fined a former finance and administration manager at the Water Resource Management Authority, James Ambuso Omondi, heavily for corruption. Ambuso has been ordered to pay a total fine of 7,640,000 or risk a jail term of 24 years upon default.
Similarly,
in handing down the sentence, Senior Principal Magistrate Eunice Nyutu said that Ambuso had used public resources to benefit himself contrary to the law. The court found that he corruptly solicited for a benefit of cash amounting to 445,000 from Geoffrey Moria as an inducement to facilitate continuous disbursement of operations and development funds to Warma. He also corruptly received 465,000 shillings from Boniface Mbeu Mwaniki as an inducement to facilitate continuous disbursement of operations and development funds to Warma Tana catchment area. Ambuso's sentencing comes a day after Francis Zuriel Moturi, a former investment manager at the National Social Security Funds, was told to pay a fine of 2.6 billion shillings or risk spending 14 years in jail. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Now there's an item here on nurses. Close to 300 Kenyan nurses are set to be deployed to the United Kingdom upon completion of their 6-week English training program to equip them with the international operation standards.
While Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, who spoke during the launch of the training program at the Kenya Medical Teaching College in Nairobi, said it was only fair that hundreds of unemployed nurses get an opportunity to serve the world.
Here's that report.
In what he termed a God-sent opportunity for the unemployed healthcare workers in the country, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said the Kenyan government was going to partner with the United Kingdom and ensure the unemployed Kenyan healthcare workers get employment in the readily available UK opportunities.
It's a real momentous occasion. This is the first time ever that we as a government have undertaken a training of this kind, where we are preparing our young people to go and work elsewhere overseas. And indeed, to prepare them, their pre-departure training, to be part of the wider training of our Kenyan young people, and to create a workforce that is internationally able, internationally qualified, and internationally recognized.
the UK has a long history of collaborating and partnering with Kenya on matters of healthcare. In January 2021, we signed a bilateral health partnership agreement and aimed at strengthening this collaboration and exploring new opportunities for working together to improve the health and well-being of our people.
Our nurses are recognized globally for the quality of education they receive and the quality of care that they are able to give.
Kagwe downplayed claims that the Kenyan training system did not meet the international standards, hence the need for the English refresher.
But I think it was fair and right that we manage this process, we formalize this process, so that Kenyans can travel to the UK not feeling as refugees, not hiding behind the scenes, but traveling there as appreciated, recognized expatriates.
The training, which commenced Tuesday, will see close to 300 healthcare providers trained during the first phase. Meanwhile, Kagwe is urging private hospitals to be reasonable with their cost of treatment, saying the exaggerated pricing was the reason for the current standoff with NHIF.
We decided yesterday that we should continue with the old contracts for now until we reach a proper consensus on the harmonization of the contracts, so that we don't have a situation, as I said earlier, where some exorbitant charges are being meted on our people for nothing, really.
Private sector, Kagwe said, must join hands with the government if bringing Kenya's cost of treatment down was to be achieved. It has now emerged that the driver of the ill-fated matatu that ran over a landmine in Mandera on Monday failed to heed to instructions by security officers manning a roadblock along the Arabia-Mandera road to stop. The vehicle was blown with 7 fatalities and 13 casualties reported. Survivors have recounted their ordeal as leaders in the region called for speedy investigations into the incident. Safina Cheng Ouma has that report.
Tension remains high in Mandera County hours after an explosion claimed the lives of 7 people in Hagarso area along the Arabia-Mandera highway. Abdi Ibrahim is among the 13 people who escaped death by a whisker but were left nursing injuries after a vehicle they were traveling in ran over an improvised explosive device about 10 kilometers from Mandera town.
Before the explosions, security officers who were on the road tried to stop us, but we didn't stop. I heard a loud explosion. The next thing, I found myself at the hospital, and actually, I can't explain what happened.
The motive behind the attack remains a mystery, even as officers from the Anti-Terror Police Unit and other multi-agency security personnel continue to comb the area seeking answers. One suspect was found at the scene of the attack, has maintained that he is innocent, but is currently in police custody for further interrogation.
I was not involved in the attack. I was just herding cattle in the bush. God is my witness. I don't know who dug this hole.
Leaders in the region have condemned the heinous attack and are calling on relevant authorities to beef up security in the area, which has borne the brunt of increased terror attacks.
We are appealing to the government of Kenya to come up with strategies on issues of this IED. Indeed, they should think of coming up with a technical way of handling these IEDs, detectors that can be able to detect IEDs.
We are requesting, or rather asking the President of the Republic of Kenya to invoke his powers to ensure Kenya Defense Forces safeguard the territorial integrity of this nation.
We are also asking the government to ensure that this road is completed, because if there is tarmac on this road, these incidents will reduce.
Those who sustained injuries continue to receive treatment in different hospitals across Mandera County. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Achieng Ouma.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on the International Finance Corporation, IFC, and other World Bank constituent financial institutions to provide support to the private sector to spur Kenya's economic growth. President Kenyatta said IFC has the potential to help in making Kenya a lucrative investment hub through supporting the private sector in implementing the government's Big Four agenda. Beatrice Gatonye reports.
Managing Director Mukhtar Diop, who is on a 5-day visit in Kenya, Tuesday led a high-level delegation to State House, Nairobi, for a meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta and other senior government officials. During the meeting, Diop briefed President Kenyatta on the involvement of the IFC in different economic sectors under the Big Four agenda. The IFC MD said he planned to hold discussions with stakeholders in the pharmaceuticals and housing sectors to see how best they can collaborate to ensure realization of affordable healthcare and housing for Kenyans. President Kenyatta and Diop also discussed a plan that Kenya is keen on implementing to manufacture vaccines. President Kenyatta appreciated the role IFC has been playing in supporting Kenya's private sector, noting that the Big Four agenda has opened even more opportunities for increased collaboration through the country's public-private partnership program. The president said the government has come a long way in creating an enabling environment for investors in the different sectors. Diop assured the president of IFC's commitment to continue supporting Kenya's development agenda by providing inclusive financing and boosting recovery by developing the capital markets.
Let's now shift our focus to politics. Orange Democratic Movement Party leader Raila Odinga has pledged to focus on the country's economic revival and seal all corruption loopholes if elected president in the August 9 general election. Speaking in Nyandarua County, where he drummed up support for his Azimio la Umoja movement, Raila assured Kenyans that his government will embrace equity.
ODM leader Raila Odinga took the Azimio la Umoja movement campaign to Olkalau region in Nyandarua County, wooing locals to support his August 9th presidential quest.
Sisi tutahakikisha kwamba gharama ya yale inputs zinarudi chini ili wakulima waweze kupata haki yao kulingana na jasho yao.
Hosted by Area Governor Francis Kimemia and a host of lawmakers allied to the Azimio la Umoja movement, Raila held a meeting with a section of Mount Kenya leaders where he vowed to inspire prosperity and eradicate discrimination if elected president in the August 9 polls.
Vijana wamealia mambo ya ajira, kazi ndani ya serikali. Tutahakikisha kwamba hakuna county ambayo inabaguliwa. County yote watapata their fair share kwa kazi ya kiserikali, kazi ya kijeshi, kazi ya kipolisi na kadhalika.
Raila, who laid a foundation stone for the Mashujaa complex at the JM Kariuki Memorial County Referral Hospital in Nyandarua, said sealing all corruption loopholes in the government will be his top priority.
Every year we are churning in people who are coming from primary schools, secondary, tertiary, and universities. 1 million people looking for jobs. Kwa hivyo mpaka we think out of the box. Tuangalie private sector ya kibinafsi. Pale ndio kazi itapatikana mingi zaidi.
Azimio affiliate leaders accused their counterparts in the Kenya Kwanza Alliance of causing division and confusion in central Kenya region for selfish gains.
Tumesema mambo mengi, tukakuwekelea mambo mengi ya uongo. Leo tukiwa hapa Nyandarua, mimi nataka tuombe baba msamaha.
Haiwezekani kwamba wewe utamtusi na utamchukia Uhuru Kenyatta alafu useme unapenda watu wake. Haiwezekani.
Now we are not going to deal with a wolf ambayo imevaa ngozi ya mbuzi and is cheating us that this is person at in very good for Kenyans.
Tahakikisha vile tunasema hapa kwa county ni twahuti ya karorigi.
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Interior Ministry is seeking an additional 5.8 billion shillings in the 2022-2023 budget to cater for the police insurance cover. Appearing before the National Assembly Administration Committee, Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibisho asked legislators to consider harmonizing insurance cover for public officers, that's including the police.
Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho appeared before the National Assembly Administration Committee to defend the ministry's budget for 2022-2023. The Interior Ministry submitting it requires 142 billion shillings, but Treasury has allocated the ministry 103 billion shillings. The shortfall, according to PS Karanja Kibicho, will hamper critical areas including recruitment of police and rolling out a new insurance cover for the officers.
103,000 civil servants are covered at 6-point-something billion group life. The 135 police officers and prison are covered at 2 billion. When a civil servant loses life, the line of duty, they are given salary of 5 years. 5 years. When a police officer dies in the line of duty, and they are more prone to dying in the line of duty than the us who come to office, they are given 1 year.
The Interior Ministry requires at least 5.8 billion shillings to match the insurance cover for police with that of civil servants.
If we are to get exactly cut and paste what the other civil servants are getting, then the deficit is 5-point-something billion, so that our total cover is 8.1 billion.
Further, the ministry is seeking an additional 2 billion shillings to equip forensic laboratory. Public Service Principal Secretary Mary Kimonye also appeared before the committee to defend her department's budget. Kimonye calling on MPs to fund Huduma centers because they were facing eviction from poster premises over rent arrears amounting to 1.7 billion shillings.
You know, Huduma is almost a security installation. So in some areas we have poster and we are finding them licensing kiosks around us because you know what poster is going through. I think this is a major discussion, Chair. We probably might not exhaust it here. So we have government data there, we don't want it compromised. Maybe government should acquire the post office premises.
Gishoke Washira, Prime Edition.
Well, that story brings us to our first break right here on KBC.
And
Prime.
we have plenty more coming up, including business and sports. Karen Kibet and Cynthia Nyamai are already in studio with the latest.
Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Beacon Furnitures Limited. We're local manufacturers of quality office furniture, dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. Our automated state-of-the-art factories at Henna House along Enterprise Road in Nairobi's industrial area. Our showroom is at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. We are passionate believers in locally manufactured goods. When you and I buy locally made furniture, we impact on the livelihoods of our brothers and sisters. For orders, visit our showroom at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. Beacon Furnitures Limited. Jenga Kenya, tupate ajira.
Welcome back. Now, the Democratic Party says that it will reduce by 50% nomination fee for women and youth aspiring for various political positions.
The party's presidential flag bearer and Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, said the party will also waive the charges for female aspirants who are unable to raise the fee but have leadership abilities.
Here's that story.
The Democratic Party now says women and persons living with disabilities with extreme financial difficulties will not be required to pay any nomination fee. Speaker of the National Assembly Justin Muturi, who is also the party's presidential flag bearer, while addressing women opinion leaders drawn from Kiambu County, said the party's move was meant to make it easier for women to aspire for more leadership positions.
The Democratic Party has taken a decision that women aspirants will be given a 50% discount, and in appropriate cases, and youth, as well as the youth, and in appropriate cases, depending on the peculiar circumstances of each case, we can even do a waiver of the nomination fees.
Muturi stated that women and youth should empower each other and advocate for greater representation in leadership positions.
I put a pitch for as many women as possible and the youth to come out and vie for various leadership positions in the political arena. And as a party, we will go out of our way to encourage that and support.
While urging Kenyans to take advantage of the remaining registration period, Muturi also urged IEBC to enhance voter education to lure more youth in their voting system. Meanwhile, Bomet Governor Professor Hilary Barchok has called on political leaders in the country to desist from divisive politics and preach peace while seeking support. Speaking in Cheboyo, Chepalungu constituency, Barchok said the country is more important than all politicians and urged politicians to show maturity in their campaigns.
Ningependa kuomba viongozi wote tukisunguka kuomba kura lazima tutumie lugha mzuri. Ile maneno ambayo tunaongea lazima iwe maneno ya kuunganisha wa Kenya, sio maneno ya kuwatawanya wa Kenya kwa njia za ukabila.
To the COVID-19 situation here in Kenya, St. Cecilia Girls Misiku is among the first schools to administer the COVID-19 jab to learners. The Minister of Health officials in Bungoma has started issuing the COVID-19 vaccines to learners who have attained the age of 15 years in both primary and secondary schools. This as Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says his ministry will be rolling out a mass vaccination drive beginning Thursday. Nancy Okware reports.
The Ministry of Health officials were at St. Cecilia Girls Misihu Secondary School in Bungoma County to administer the COVID-19 vaccine to learners aged 15 years and above. The school management welcoming the move, saying it will protect the learners and the teachers, as initially only 38 students had been vaccinated against a population of 1,600 students.
So having brought the medics to school, we are now happy that our students are safe, and we are also safe as teachers.
Started with awareness, and they were aware of what they are going to do. Then number two, we were to select them according to the ages, those who are above 18 and those who are below 18.
It feels so good because most of us have been so tensed about the third wave of corona, but now, because some of us come from different places, so you never know. But right now, you're free.
Happy to be vaccinated! Yeah!
The Ministry of Health approved the use of Pfizer vaccine for those aged 15 years and above in November last year, following its approval by the World Health Organization for use on children aged 12 years and above. With only 20% of the Kenyan population vaccinated so far, the Ministry of Health will be rolling out a mass vaccination campaign on Thursday.
The people we have lost over the last couple of weeks have essentially been persons who have not been vaccinated. 99% of the people in ICU are people who have not been vaccinated. Kenya has about 20% so far. We have vaccinated about 20% of our people, but that's not enough.
According to the latest data from the Ministry of Health, 12.5 million people have been vaccinated against COVID-19 in the country. Out of this number, 5.6 million are fully vaccinated, while 6.6 million are partially vaccinated. The COVID-19 positivity rate on Tuesday stood at 2.8%, following the confirmation of 171 cases out of 6,137 samples screened in the last 24 hours. 4 patients have lost their lives, pushing the total fatalities to 5,587. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Well, before we look at the county fact file, let's look at an item here on ANC. Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has taken issue with his political opponents that he says are equating the Kenya Kwanza Pact with the tribal outfit. Speaking in Nairobi County during a campaign tour, Mudavadi called on his competitors to focus on selling their agenda. Leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance urged voters to desist from attempts to have leaders imposed on them. Timothy Kipnusu is on that beat.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade was in Westlands constituency on Tuesday, wooing voters to support them in the August 9th election. Mudavadi traversed the City Park Market, Mwimuto, Kangemi and Githogoro areas as he popularized the new pact.
Kazi ni kazi. Kazi ni kazi.
Mudavadi cautioning leaders against reducing the Kenya Kwanza pact that brought together his party. Deputy President William Ruto and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula to a tribal outfit.
Sisi katika mrengo wa Kenya Kwanza tunakuja kwa wananchi. Hatuleti na serikali. Hatuleti kama project. Tunanyenyekea kwenu ili tuombe kura mtupatie.
Kama wewe una shida na Ruto, Musalia hana shida na Ruto. You will not, and I want to repeat, we will never give you an opportunity to choose friends for us or create enemies for us.
The ANC leader faulted the government for allegedly using taxpayers' money to campaign for Azimio la Umoja movement.
Kwa hiyo mradi yao ya Azimio, badala ya kupatia Wakenya pesa, badala ya kupatia market hii pesa, afadhali wajenge hema ya milioni 15 ili Azimio iende pale.
Leaders who accompanied Mudavadi said time has come for Kenyans to be left to choose their leaders freely.
Kenya ya leo ni mwananchi wa kawaida ataamua kiongozi wake ni nani. Mambo ya project wa Kenya walikataa 2002.
Wewe huwezi kutulazimisha project na Kibaraka akuwe rais wa Kenya.
Sisi tunataka kurudisha heshima ya Mkenya.
Si kura ni zetu. Si maisha ni yetu.
Ile project uko nayo ya kuletea Wakenya Raila Odinga, ile project tumekataa.
Earthquake.
A week after he unleashed what he termed the earthquake in the Bomas of Kenya, checking the political atmosphere, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi led the Kenya Kwanza Brigade in soliciting for votes in Westlands constituency. This even as they say their pact is the best bet yet to lead Kenya. Timothy Kipnoso for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Timothy Kipnusu, for that report right from the capital, Nairobi. The new Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Mali Mohammed has issued a 2-week ultimatum to those in possession of illegal firearms in the region to surrender them or face the law. The administrator said the government will embark on a forceful disarmament exercise in, among other areas, the restive Kerio Valley region if the directive is not adhered to. This and other stories in our county news roundup.
It is during his first meeting as the regional security boss that the new regional coordinator, Mali Mohammed, gave a 2-week window period to all those in possession of illegal firearms to surrender before the forceful disarmament process starts.
Tutawanyaganya kwa nguvu. What we call forceful disarmament. Hakuna huruma tena. Yeah, because jukumu letu ni kulinda maisha na mali ya Wakenya. Isiwe kila siku tunaambiwa watu wamegongwa.
While in Muranga, a family in Kandundu is crying for justice after one of their kin was attacked and killed by unknown people.
Tunataka watu wa usalama watusaidie kwa sababu zamani kulikuwa hakuna shida, lakini tunauliza wenye wanahusika waangalie hili jiji letu la Kadudu.
Elsewhere in Migori County, 125 people living with HIV are said to benefit from foodstuffs to cushion themselves from the effects of COVID-19. The monthly donation set to run for 3 months will benefit residents in 6 selected sub-counties.
We are working in 6 sub-counties of Migori County. We are working in Kuria West, Kuria East, Sona West, Ateke, Riri, and Sona East.
And in Baringo, 2 bodies dumped along the Cabernet Iten Road, 5 kilometers from Cabernet town, have been positively identified. One was identified as Charles Muchuha, an Uber driver in Nairobi Eastlands area, plying Kiamaiko area, is said to have been picked on 18th January at around 1 p.m. by people who identified themselves as police officers while in a car wash, only to end up dead in Baringo. The other body belonged to Daniel Kinuthia, a father of 4 who was a Manson in Ruiru and was abducted by unknown people. Finally, over 2,900 pupils in public primary schools in Mboya constituency, Murang'a County, have received clipboards, rulers, pencils and geometrical sets from well-wishers ahead of the 2022 KCPE examinations next month.
Tangu janga la corona lije, watu wamefinyika sana kimfuko.
For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Tonight, in our weekly news feature segment, County Fact File, we cross over to the central Kenya and take a closer look at one of the 5 counties in Kenya's central region, Murang'a County, code 021.
Murang'a County, code 021, is located in the former central province of Kenya. It borders Kirinyaga County to the east, Nyandarua County to the west, Kiambu County to the south, and Nyeri County to the north. The county headquarters are in Murang'a town. Murang'a County has a population of 1,056,640 people according to 2019 Kenya Housing and Population Census. Murang'a has 8 sub-counties: Kiharu, Mboya, Kangema, Gatanga, Kigumo, Kandara, Kahuro and Murang'a South, covering the county's 2,558.8 square kilometers. The county has 7 constituencies with 587,126 registered voters as per the 2017 IEBC register. They include Kangema, Mboya, Kiharu, Kigumo, Maragua, Kandara and Gatanga. Agriculture is the predominant economic activity in the county, with 80% of the population relying on it for sustenance. The main agricultural products are coffee, honey, maize, beans, tea, milk and fish. The governor who has served Murang'a County to date is Mwangi wa Iria. The late opposition leader Kenneth Stanley Jindo Matiba hailed from Murang'a.
Formerly referred to as Fort Hall in the colonial era.
We now take a second commercial break. When we return, business news will be up next with the lovely Cynthia Nyamai, who is already on her set.
Mbona watetemeka hivyo nani?
Hilo silo swali nililokuuliza Kombo.
Jamani. Sisi tuko hapa kutafuta suluhisho au tutavilingana kwa maneno?
Kama hauna la maana tafadhali usiongee. Yaani mimi nimekuja hapa unisupport mara alafu anza kuningusha mambo ambayo mimi mwenyewe hata sielewi.
Time for business. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, coffee cooperative officials have been given 2 weeks to register qualified farmers for the 3 billion shilling revolving cherry fund. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Mboya says the uptake of the cherry fund is still low due to low levels of sensitization and farmers by cooperative about the fund.
The new Kenya Planters Cooperative Union says out of the 3 billion shillings cherry fund availed to farmers in 2020, only 200 million shillings has so far been disbursed. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Mboya blames the low uptake to low levels of awareness about the availability of funds by farmers.
Yomba 100, ukilipa unalipa na shilingi 100 na shilingi 3. Ni kama kupewa pesa bure, unaambiwa enda utumie urudishe. Na hiyo pesa imekaa kwa benki kwa sababu wa muombi.
Tunapata cherry fund na hii kitu ni kitu ambayo imekuwa ikifichwa. Watu hawaelezwi kwa ukweli vile mambo ilivyo.
Officials in the cooperatives have been given 14 days to register qualified farmers who are interested on borrowing from the revolving fund.
Mimi nimepeana wiki mbili officials wasaini hizo form, wakulima waombe pesa. Society ile haita sign. Mimi nitakuja huko baada ya wiki mbili. Ni notice nimepeana.
Low coffee production from smallholders has also contributed to reduce borrowings as credit is advanced at 20 shillings per kilo.
Lakini pesa iko ya kuomba, badala uende kwa benki ukaombe pesa ya gharama ya juu. Ama uwe na shinda ukingoja kahawa iuzwe na pesa iko hapo, si uombe.
This comes as 217 and 3460 kg bags of coffee was sold via the Nairobi Coffee Exchange in January this year, up from 132 and 149 bags sold during the same period last year, representing a 64.23% rise. The average price rose by 16.09% to 38,000 shillings per 50 kg bag this year. Benson Druba reporting for Prime Edition.
Service providers from technical and vocational institutions are set to be the main beneficiaries of the economic partnership agreement between Kenya and the United Kingdom. The service providers are being trained to equip them with knowledge that will help them fit within the British job market. Trade Principal Secretary Johnson Weru says Kenya is drafting a new fiscal policy tailored to the economic partnership agreement with the UK.
Kenya signed an economic partnership agreement with the United Kingdom in December 2020, with the deal coming into force in March last year following its ratification by both countries. It offered Kenyan exports continuation of duty-free access to the UK market. The deal ensured that trade between the UK and the East African community continues uninterrupted. Trade Principal Secretary Johnson Weru says Kenya will serve as the trade hub connecting the UK to the greater East African region, especially with the expansion of the port of Mombasa. In terms of the service industry, Weru says the deal would ensure that trained Kenyans easily access employment opportunities in the UK.
In the area of services. So once we agree, negotiate, sign and ratify, a nurse from Kenya, a welder from Kenya, a carpenter, a mason, a prepper, we'll just take a flight, go and do what they have to do and come back. And you can imagine the transformative effect of our TVETs and our rural incomes.
That we can get Kenyan nurses who are out of work, who don't have jobs in the Kenyan economy, to enable them to transfer their skills to the UK, work in the NHS for a few years, and then hopefully come back with expanded skill sets and add to Kenya's national health system.
He tasked the newly appointed Economic Partnership Council to map out business opportunities in the UK that Kenyan businesses can tap.
So the faster we create success pillars for the trade in goods, we move into the other areas of services, investments, competition, and it will be a great opportunity for Kenya and East Africa and the rest of Africa.
Traders say they still face challenges exporting to the UK and are calling on the government to intervene through a policy tailored to the Economic Partnership Agreement.
What we'll be able to do is to increase our competitiveness. What we'll be able to do is to expand the scope because we have duty-free and quota-free opportunity to export to the UK.
Those in the service industry like nurses will be at the center of this trade agreement, establishing better ties between Kenya and the United Kingdom. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Ibak Said.
Now, if you operate a small business, you are being encouraged to embrace the hub and spoke model that allows different businesses to share a working space. Housing and Urban Planning Principal Charles Hinga says the model is cost-friendly to business owners and helps mitigate environmental impact. Hinga's sentiments came in the wake of reduced demand for premium office spaces.
Coronavirus fast-tracked adoption of online working models to stem the spread of the virus, with most service-based companies wholesomely embracing the work-from-home model.
And in response, companies, both local and international, embarked on cost-saving and austerity measures, looking to save costs wherever possible in the short term.
The latest Architectural Association of Kenya report indicates that there is depressed demand for premium office space. The report shows that there is an oversupply of 6.3 million square feet of office space, as well as declining rental yields in Kenya.
And moving into this year, our outlook for the commercial office sector is negative.
Despite the reinvention of the real estate sector towards development anchored on innovation and technology, the Architectural Association of Kenya is calling on developers to undertake extensive research before embarking on any project for sustainability.
I would hope about this reimagining that we're going to do together is looking at all these new urban nodes that are coming up as a result of all the heavy investment in infrastructure.
In terms of infrastructure, a big deal is actually needed to be done there. And government is trying, but we believe more can be done to improve infrastructure, especially look at water supply, waste management, and of course transport.
Investment in the real estate sector holds promise, as increasing demand for small housing units is set to see the real estate grow. However, experts warn that there is need for an upgrade in infrastructure to support this development.
The youth in Tharaka Nithi County are set to receive technical vocational skills training and thereafter access to funding from the KCB Foundation over the next 2 years to create micro, small and medium enterprises. This follows a deal between KCB Foundation and Tharaka Nithi County government targeting training of 400 youth in an effort to tackle unemployment. Here are the details of this and more in our corporate roundup.
The deal between KCB Foundation and Tharaka Nithi County government will see the youth trained in the technical sectors of automotive industry, construction, beauty and personnel care and domestic services through accredited TVETs. The deal is part of efforts to create sustainable, decent jobs and income-generating activities.
Leo tumesign MOU ama tumetia sahihi MOU ambaye itaruhusu sisi kama Tharaka Nithi County kupata na KCB. Wale vijana wetu tumenunulia equipment kupitia Youth Empowerment Program. Sasa wanaweza pata pesa kutoka KCB ya kufund hizo biashara.
Program is about creating jobs. It's about job creation. And that is why it's called Tujiajiri. We have youth who have a lot of potential. If given the right technical skills and supported in the right way, including access to credit, they can do wonders to this economy.
Elsewhere, key stakeholders in the tourism and travel industries have agreed to synergize their efforts towards tourism and travel recovery in the country, which have been adversely affected by the COVID-19 restrictions. The hospitality industry stakeholders have agreed to correspondingly promote synergies between government and the private sector to promote tourism.
Partly due to the work we've been doing with Kenya Tourist Board to get the message out that Kenya was open, and if you kept the protocols, which were quite clear, and the same as most countries were doing, in fact, you could come, and people did come. Now that it's all being lifted, and the UK has totally lifted all the tests that you have to do now, there's no more PCR tests or that sort of thing, the British people will come, and the numbers will come back. And now we have to work with KTB to get that message out to them that Kenya is open for business.
That as partners who have like-minded objectives, who can support each other to mutually beneficial objectives, to be able to open up destinations, but also to provide an opportunity to understand what the new normal is, who the new customer is, and how it is the destinations can plug into what it is the customers are looking for and offer that to them.
Finally, local manufacturers have been urged to increase production of products that are tailor-made for the women clientele to promote self-confidence among young women. Big East Africa General Manager Michael Sinclair said the company is seeking to create products that support young females to move away from focusing most of their energies on their physical appearances.
Big Soleil actively aims to support young females in focusing less on physical appearance, but rather to embrace and express their true selves in their own way. By working with the renowned Azia Atmasenya, we believe we will be able to deliver our message and reach young females across Kenya.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Well, that's it for business for today. Up next, sports with Karen Kibet.
Coronavirus first struck.
Serikali ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta imetekeleza miradi mbalimbali kwenye sekta ya afya kuhakikisha Wakenya wanapata huduma bora za afya na kwa bei nafuu. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
The Kenya we want is one in which no Kenyan should leave the country so as to receive the medical care they require.
Kila mtu amefahamu kuna linda mama na anakuja hospitalini na anasaidika hapa. Ikiwa ni operation ni bure, ikiwa atazaa mwenyewe pia ni bure.
Hakuna mtu anafaa kukosa kupata huduma ya afya akienda kwa hospitali ya serikali.
All types of cancer. Smoking is a risk factor. Starting with the lung cancer, which is major, because when you smoke, the smoke actually the tar is deposited in the lungs. But you see the other types of cancer, like my brother says, of throat cancer, larynx cancer, and maybe cancer of the reproductive system.
I had given up. I had even told my wife I wouldn't go for more sessions. Let me just die. Because I was going through a lot of pain. The whole body. I lost my saliva. My tongue was full of sores. Very painful sores for a period of 2.5 years. I was lubricating my mouth with water.
A very good evening to you. I do hope you're holding up well. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet.
Now, sensational Kenyan and Africa junior tennis champion Angela Okutoi, who became the first girl in Africa to reach a third round of the Australian Open, has promised to show a stunning performance in the French Open before playing in the Wimbledon later this year. Okutoi, who was received to a warm welcome by Tennis Kenya and the National Olympic Committee of Kenya NOC, stated that she will maintain her focus and put Kenya in glory.
Momentous run to the third round of the Australian Open for juniors grabbed headlines and captured imaginations. By defeating Italian qualifier Federica Agassi in the first round, the 18-year-old became the first Kenyan girl to record a junior Grand Slam match win, while she was already the first since 1978 to even compete at a major. There was further joy and much-deserved acknowledgement when Okutoi dispatched another qualifier, this time Zara Lake of Australia, in round 2 and equaled the previous best result of a Kenyan junior at a Grand Slam.
I've been doing some interviews, but I usually don't mention 4 people who are really important in my life, which I don't really mention much. One important person that I don't usually mention is my grandmother. Well, I want to say thank you so much, because without her, maybe I wouldn't be even in Kenya, or I wouldn't even know the sport tennis, because back in the time when we were young, I was in the orphanage, and she has really struggled so much to take care of me.
I feel so good. Yani nimefurahi tu, nimefurahi Angie amefanya tumejulikana. Yani make us to be proud. But I always tell her, be focused, respect everyone, play your game, don't look at anyone.
The sensational player shifts attention to the French Open and the Wimbledon as she hopes to orchestrate her performance to larger margins.
Next is to see myself playing at the other 3 Grand Slams and to break the record that I beat in Australian Open, meaning beating round 3. So
I think it's really good because when you do get a player like Angie, all those little girls and boys outside, they now get that energy to play tennis. They have a role model. And I think tennis is on the upswing again.
Without a proper infrastructure, you even can't get your products to the market. Without proper infrastructure, you won't even be able to utilize the electricity to do this or that. This is fundamental. There are no public courts in Kenya. None exist.
Angie is from a structure of teachers, a structure of physiotherapists, mental coach, fitness coach, administrators, tennis coaches.
Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Moki, for that report, and we do wish Angela Okutoi all the best in the coming French Open and Wimbledon Open. Keep soaring high. Moving on, preparations for the 10th edition of the East African Classic Rally are in top gear. Over 48 international and local drivers have confirmed participation in the event, set to be held between the 10th and 18th of this month and cover up to 5,000 kilometers across the region. The 9-day event will be flagged off at the Kenya Wildlife Institute in Naivasha. Notable local drivers who will be taking part in the race include Carl Tundo and Eric Bengi, who competed in last year's 2021 World Championship Rally. Gatimu Mindo will enter the rally for the first time in a famous and proven Danson 180B. Meanwhile, Kenyan driver Eric Bengi has opted out of the 2022 WRC Safari Rally Kenya in June in order to focus on the EAC Rally and the National Championship.
We have obviously new ownership from Joey Ghosh. He is the chairman. He can't be here at the moment, but he is flying in this weekend.
This year we've taken bigger measures on safety, and I'll break it down in several categories. For drivers, they are getting state-of-the-art equipment installed in their cars, which is primarily to do with assisting in overtaking.
Sorry, you'll not be seeing us in WRC. We are taking a sabbatical from that, but let's see what the future holds.
We've taken every measure to make sure the car is reliable and successful around the route. You've got to remember they're 30-year-old cars, and we travel sort of on our Kenyan roads.
Premier League giants Gor Mahia have appointed experienced German tactician Andreas Pier as their new head coach on interim basis. The changes come exactly 3 days after the club axed Briton Harrison Mark and his assistant Sami Omolo. Gor are only 6 points adrift of surprise leaders Kakamega Homeboys on the Kenyan Premier League table.
I know, I'm aware, it's a club with tradition, it's a club with history, with football history, and I know that the 5th place now is not reflecting the ambition of the club. We will try our best as a coach team. We will try together with the club responsibles, and first of all we have to handle and to evaluate the team. I know it is a young team, but for us it's a situation that we can resolve, and that these children, they can grow up, but also to create a good team, to push the team to get also immediate results.
And finally, Pierre-Emerick has joined Barcelona on a free transfer after leaving Arsenal before the transfer window closed in January. Meanwhile, Tottenham signed Juventus player Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur, with their record signing Tanguy Ndombele joining Lyon on loan.
And it will count! And Aubameyang is off the mark, and it's made by Mkhitaryan, the perfect goal.
Barcelona have signed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal on a free transfer. The 32-year-old Gabon striker signed the deal late on Monday evening. Aubameyang has not played for the Gunners since a disciplinary breach in December, but scored 92 goals in 163 games prior to that.
Vertonghen, what a dangerous ball that is. Aurier, and beaten away by the legs of David De Gea. Dele Alli still going, score!
After signing coach Frank Lampard, Everton intensified their recruitment process. Meanwhile, Tottenham have signed Juventus players Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur, while record signing Tanguy Ndombele has joined Lyon on loan. Uruguay midfielder Bentancur joins for an initial £15.9 million, which could rise by £5 million on a deal until 2026. Sweden winger Kulusevski joins on an 18-month loan for an £8.3 million, with an option to buy for £29.2 million.
13 minutes into his debut. It is a special moment for Dejan Kulusevski. Picked out the bottom corner with a surgeon's scalpel, and Juve lead by 1-0.
Absolute quality. France midfielder Ndombele returns to Lyon for the rest of the season, 3 years after leaving to join Spurs.
And that's your sports. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, with more sports news. Have yourself a peaceful night. My name is Karen Kibet. I hand you back to Tom and Purity for more.
Thank you, Marquette.
Thank you so much, Karen Kibet, for the sports update. It's always a pleasure to have your company right here in studio. And we wrap it up right here, Prime Edition, Monday and Tuesday. Again, next week, we'll see you. I'm Purity Museo, and Susan Thuku has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Happy New Month, and stay safe.
Thank you. That's all we had time for. In the first day of the month, some people consider the month of love. From us here, it's good night. And remember, life lived in love will never be dull. Bye-bye.